Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon, and here we play Jank. And so I have another community-created deck that I'm pre-recording so that I can enjoy my vacation, not have to come home immediately start recording videos. I have a little bit of breathing space. And this deck is given to us by the awesome Beyfather Walid, I think? Walid? Beyfather Walid. That's his username, and I've gotten to actually play against him a little bit. I have a recorded match that maybe I'll upload at some point. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But this is the deck that he submitted to me, and it revolves around Kecleon. Sort of. It also revolves around Alcremie. Kind of two attackers in this deck between Alcremie and Kecleon, but it does use the Alcremie with the Café Master supporter to get energy out on the field, and also Xerneas, just get a bunch of energy out onto the field to use these attacks from Kecleon and Alcremie. So let's get into the details, right? And we'll start off with Kecleon, because I think this is the focus point of the deck. You do play 3 copies of it, which is the most copies of a Pokemon that you play in this deck, so that's why I think it's the focus. Kecleon has 90 HP, colorless Pokemon, and for for 3 energy, spinning attack for 90 damage. That is nothing special. However, the ability Chroma Shift, this Pokemon is the same type as any basic energy attached to it. If it has 2 or more different types of basic energy attached, this Pokemon is each of those types. So just stacking basic energy on this Pokemon to do that 3 energy will let you hit multiple weaknesses, and through that you're hoping to do a lot of damage. With weakness, you do 180 damage, which isn't bad. However, we do play super effective goggles. Super effective glasses? Let's just jump over here and take a look. Super effective glasses. Here we go. When applying weakness to damage the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to, done to your opponent's active Pokemon, apply it as 3 times rather than 2 times. So, that weakness that we are hitting will actually do 270 as long as you have those super effective glasses equipped to Kecleon. And that's pretty nice. 270, though, does miss a few important cards. But that's where we have Articuno to help fix some of the numbers. That means you do have to have water energy attached to the Kecleon for it to be considered a basic water Pokemon, for Articuno to let you 10 more damage. And that 10 more damage is applied before applying weakness and resistance. And you play 2 Articuno, so that means that base attack from Kecleon will do 110. Tripled, thanks to super effective glasses, you're looking at 330 damage, which KOs basically every Pokemon that has weakness. I think there's very few that survive with, I think a Eternatus VMAX would survive, but that's rotated, so we don't have to worry about that sort of business. And that's where the focus of the deck is, and it can get real weird. Now, if I was building this, I would probably use Zapdos instead because of the threat that Lugia is, plus the threat that Origin Form Palkia still is. It's still a phenomenal deck. Hitting those 2 for weakness with the lightning type is going to be the main focus of Kecleon, I think. And that's where I would go Zapdos instead of Articuno. But that's just a me picky thing. And then also in this deck we are playing the Alcremie, which is a stage 1. And it's also a 90 HP Pokemon, but this rainbow flavor attack is a lot of fun. It does 10 base, and then this attack does 40 more damage for each type of basic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Now that is each type of basic energy, so every different type of basic energy you put onto your Pokemon means it does 40 more. So there is a limit. There is a limit because there's a limit of how many energy types we have in the game. Come on, camera. I know how to work a camera, right? Okay, this way is probably the best way. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 different types of energy. So 8 times 4 is like 240. No. 8 times 4 is, what is that, 30, oh my gosh, 32, but, you know, it's 8 times 40, so that's 320, plus the 10, that's 330 again. And you can't use Articuno with it, but it's attacking for 2 energy rather than the Kecleon. 3 energy, and in the super effective goggles, and all the energy doesn't have to be piled onto Alcremie. So there's certain things that Alcremie does better than Kecleon, and there's certain things Kecleon does better than Alcremie. Also, in addition to that, Alcremie has the additional order ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your turn does not end when you play Café Master. Café Master is a supporter card. Choose up to 3 of your benched Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a different type of basic energy card and attach it to that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck. Your turn ends. So if Alcremie is in the active, you ignore the your turn ends part. And that's a good way to get a lot of energy out onto the field. Then we are also playing Xerneas. Xerneas, with 2 colorless energy, has an attack where you can search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. And this is another great way to get energy out. So we have Café Master and we have Xerneas. Playing Xerneas as a one-of has me a little concerned. We'll see how well that goes, though. We do have 1 copy of Radiant Greninja. You can only play 1 copy. And it has the Concealed Cards ability where you can discard an energy card from your hand in order to draw 2 cards. I'm a little worried about this as well because you are discarding your energy, which you need in order to do attacks and power up different Pokemon, and you want a bunch of different types of energy, so discarding too much of one, and if you discard one and then a Pokemon gets KO'd that had that one, you lose that energy, so you'll have to recover it, and it gets complicated. But it's still a fun consistency card, so hopefully that'll help out. And then we also have access to Moonlight Shuriken. If we can get 2 water and then any other type of energy on there, we can do 90 to 2 different Pokemon. And that might be able to pick up multiple KOs or something along those lines. So, real excited to have that in the deck. So let's take a look at energy, because I do think this is going to be an important area to look at. Now, Beyfather Walid does play 4 copies of Double Turbo Energy, and then 2 copies of every other type of energy. Now, I understand why we're playing 4 copies of Double Turbo Energy. Most of our Pokemon attack for colorless energy. But while those energy attacks might be for colorless, they kind of want different types of energy. So we're going to see how this plays. And then just 2 copies of each energy type is a nice spread, but it's not really giving certain matchups certain advantages. Like, I would love to throw in more copies of lightning energy to deal with those Palkias and those Lugias, and then maybe extra copy of fighting energy, because Raikou is very popular, Miraidon's very popular, just those lightning Pokemon are really popular, so having extra fighting energy to KO those Pokemon would be useful, and that type of stuff. So let's jump into the trainers. And what we have here is a lot of different cards. So we've already talked about our 3 copies of Café Master and our 2 copies of Super Effective Glasses. So let's just start from the beginning with 2 copies of Tower of Waters. Now this can be used to give our Rapid Strike Pokemon free retreat. And Kecleon is the only Pokemon that we have that is a Rapid Strike Pokemon and would gain advantage from Tower of Waters. And that's probably to retreat Kecleon to put Alcremie into the active so that you can use Café Master. Then we have 3 copies of Switch Cart. Now, Switch Cart only works if your active Pokemon is a basic. So we're talking Articuno, Xerneas, and Greninja to get those out of the active, to get that Kecleon into the active. Or our bench Pokemon can be a stage 1. It could get an Alcremie into the active as well. Then we have 1 copy of Judge. Okay. 4 copies of Energy Retrieval, because energy is very important in this. This is the only Energy Retrieval. Well, not really the only. We do have 1 copy of Marnie's Pride. But Energy Retrieval is our main energy recovery of the deck. So getting 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. I would love to see Energy Recycler in this, because Café Master attaches from the deck, Xerneas attaches from the deck, and Energy Retrieval puts into your hand. So only having the 1 Judge is also going to make it difficult to get those energies back into the deck, so that then you can accelerate with other cards. We play 4 copies of Battle VIP Pass, because if you are playing Battle VIP Pass, really you have to play 4 copies. Playing less than 4 means you're less likely to have it in your first turn, and so you either play 4 or you play none, and we are playing 4 in this. And that seems to be the only, pure basic Pokemon search in this, because we also play 3 copies of Ultra Ball, which is just universal search, and we only have 2 stage 1s, so everything else is a basic. But we've got 3 copies of Ultra Ball in here to search out those stage 1s and whatever else we might need. We have 3 copies of Gutsy Pickaxe in here, and Gutsy Pickaxe is a nice, just 1 card for 1 card sort of business. You play it down, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting energy, you attach it, but if it's not, it goes into your hand. So you play a card to draw a card, essentially, and very rarely, but occasionally, it's happened to me a few times, you will hit that fighting energy, and then you'll have to attach it to a benched Pokemon. I had to attach it to Articuno when I played Gutsy Pickaxe. Maybe that was a mistake on my end, because I also had Battle VIP Pass in my hand. I should have played that first, then play the Gutsy Pickaxe, but that was me learning the deck. So we have 3 copies of the Gutsy Pickaxe. And then, as mentioned before, 1 copy of Marnie's Pride, which lets you attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. 1 more card for energy recovery, and it attaches, so we can have that Pokemon ready, or just power up the Alcremie. So then we have 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders, fantastic card. Grabs a Pokemon from your opponent's bench, puts into their active, so you can chase down certain KOs, drag up something with less HP, KO it, and try to steal wins that way. And that's the deck that we have currently, all revolving around this Kecleon. So let's go ahead, jump into test deck, and see how this deck performs. That was a lot of talking, right? Lots of weirdness in this deck. Not something I would normally build myself. Like I've mentioned, I would change a lot of these numbers that we have going on. But I like the idea of using the Café Master with the Alcremie in the active in order to accelerate energy, and then using the Kecleon with the Supereffective Glasses to hit big, or just using the Alcremie. I am worried that it's going to miss certain key numbers. Possibly. So we have a Milcery, which is the pre-evolved form of the Alcremie. We do have a Kecleon, we have a Tower of Waters, and a Supereffective Glasses. And Café Master, remember, it only attaches to the bench. So we need the Kecleon on the bench in order to get energy on it. So I guess I have to go Milcery. And I'll put the Kecleon on the bench. And I can attach a water energy there, and then play Café Master, get another energy. But then we're just kind of sitting here. The deck didn't play like a Professor's Research or that kind of stuff. It does have a Judge and a Greninja. But when that's your only draw, you are going to be in top deck mode fairly often. We do get an Ultra Ball. So what can I discard? Probably the Tower of Waters and the boss's orders. And that'll help me get an extra energy out with the Café Master, you know? But what should we grab? I feel like if I grab Radiant Greninja, I can discard the water energy and draw 2 cards, but I'm not sure if those 2 cards are actually going to do something. So I'm going to grab the Xerneas here. And then with the Xerneas, let's see. I'm going to... I'm going to attach a water energy to the Xerneas, then play the Café Master. And select those 2. Now, it looks like my opponent is playing the Hisuian Zoroark deck. And that's a colorless Pokemon, so I'm pretty sure it comes through with the fighting weakness. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that. And we already had to attach a water energy to the Xerneas. So we want another water energy for the Kecleon so that we can get a bit stronger with the Articuno. So let's go ahead. We'll attach there. And if they do KO the Milcery, we will be able to put the Xerneas up and start accelerating a lot of energy. Sadly, we did not get a Battle VIP Pass in our opening hand, and that's always a big concern with playing Battle VIP Pass, is that it just might not be there. So we get the water energy, but we have to use this in order to retreat the Milcery, so that then we can put Xerneas into the active, and use... I'm going to go ahead and play that tool, and then use the Breath of Life in order to accelerate energy out onto the field. We're going to do a Grass energy, a Lightning energy, and a Psychic energy. We're going to put Grass and Lightning on the Kecleon, and a Psychic on the Milcery. And that's it. Let's see. Okay, so I could attach with Breath of Life to the Xerneas, and that would allow me to use the 100. Oof. Yeah, we are just in top deck mode right now, and we just got paralyzed. So we just have to end our turn. We can't attack. We don't have anything in our hand to really play out, so we're just kind of stuck right now, sadly. Alright, so the Cresselia is weak to darkness. We did not attach any darkness energy to the Kecleon, but that should be fine, right? We get another Ultra Ball, so that's another just nothing to attack with. Now, I could retreat, and I think I'm going to. Let's go ahead and retreat into the Kecleon, because we hit the Perlion for weakness. So that'll be nice. We'll definitely get the KO. Even if we dare hit for weakness, we'll definitely get the KO. Now, the Cresselia is a completely different story. We did not attach a darkness energy. We do get Gutsy Pickaxe. That can draw us 1 more card, and that might get us to the point of actually having something. But the Cresselia currently doesn't have an attack to do. So, we're not taking any damage yet. A Metal Energy is not exactly what I was hoping for, but I'm going to play the Gutsy Pickaxe, and we get Tower of Waters. So, I can play down the Tower of Waters. Well, if I do that... Yikes. I was thinking I could go for the Alcremie, and then I could attach the Metal Energy to the Alcremie, retreat the Kecleon, and then attack, but I don't think that would be enough here. So if I Ultra Ball, and the Tower of Waters, jeez, we'll grab the Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja will go down. We will Concealed Cards and draw 2. Yikes. I guess I will attach this Lightning Energy to Milcery. I could Let's see. Kecleon's only doing 60. That is so bad. Okay, I'm gonna retreat, discarding the Lightning and the Grass into Xerneas. And I'll have the double turbo, Next turn, to attach the Xerneas, Breath of Life, attach more energy to the Kecleon so I can hit weakness on the Cresselia. They didn't get anything this turn, so that's actually pretty good news for us. I don't want to concealed cards. I want to Breath of Life. This is going to be a rough week. I just don't think I understand the deck well enough. I think that is a main issue here, is that I don't understand the deck well enough to be the best pilot for it. But, you know, we'll see. Might get some lucky games in there and get some wins, but this is going to be a rough week. I already feel it just playing against this. So we do top deck a Switch Cart. We can Switch Cart into the Kecleon, and then Kecleon, with that Darkness Energy, can hit weakness on the Cresselia and get the KO. And we benched them out. They drew very poorly. They were unable to get any of their Hisuian, Zoroark out and that kind of stuff. So, you know, when we get into actual matches, it'll be interesting to see how this deck performs and if I can play it well enough to actually get some wins. I just playing this test deck, I'm still struggling with the deck, understanding exactly how to play it, because it feels like there's just not enough draw in the deck. If I was building it, I would of course be throwing in more draw. You know how I struggle with Battle VIP Pass, so I would just throw in a bunch of Nest Balls, swap out the Ultra Ball for a Level Ball probably, because, I mean, yes, searching out Radiant Greninja, Xerneas, and Articuno are important. The Kecleon and the Alcremie are below 90 HP, and those are your main attackers. You'd really want Alcremie in the active, use Café Master to get that energy out, and then you can be building from there. Maybe instead of the Tower of Waters, which only works with the Kecleon, I would be playing Mezagoza, because you know how much I love Mezagoza. Switch Cart's a little awkward, so I would just replace that with just the basic Switch, because the basic Switch can work on the Alcremie, and Switch Cart sadly can't. Energy Retrieval, Energy Recycler, like I've mentioned before. I would also increase some of the numbers of the Pokemon here. The Energy, probably get rid of Double Turbo and leave a little bit more like Lightning and Fighting, bring those up a little bit. Whatever Gardevoir's weak against, I think it's Darkness, throw in an extra Darkness too, just to give yourself enough wiggle room in the deck. And then I would probably remove Gutsy Pickaxe for the trekking shoes, but honestly, this deck, I think, needs more draw, so maybe just forego the trekking shoes and go for the Professor's Research and that kind of stuff, or even Shauna if you're worried about discarding too much and all that jazz. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, and we'll have to see how this goes through, but I am hopeful, and I hope you guys enjoy watching this deck in action, and thank you, Beyfather Walid. Man, I feel like I pronounce that differently every time, but Beyfather Walid, thank you so much for submitting this deck. I'm very excited to get into it and have fun with it, because I really like the Kecleon and the Alcremie. I wanted to build an Alcremie deck a while ago, and I just didn't feel comfortable with it, so this is kind of my other chance to get more comfortable with it, so I'm looking forward to it. And so if you are looking forward to this deck, go ahead and press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and you know, if you enjoy the other stuff I do here, and join the Discord if you want to chat to me or the lovely people that are submitting these decks for me to check out, to give me a break. You can always submit a deck in the Discord, because in the future, you never know when life's going to get stressful, and, you know, I'll pick pick a deck that's been submitted and just feature that for a week, because it really helps keep the stress low. I'm pretty stressed because of the Portland Regionals coming up. Again, this is pre-recorded, so you guys already know the results and how terrible I did. But, yeah, so thank you so much. And, of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.